Hello, and welcome to the Astrology Syllabus. This is Lesson 1, where we'll get into grokking the circle chart. I'm making this for people who are interested in astrology, but who get really overwhelmed looking at a circle chart, which I've included a picture of, like a sample one here. It makes total sense that someone would be overwhelmed by a circle chart because it has a little bit of a lot going on. It's got these crisscrossy lines. We've got various glyphs for the planets and the signs of the zodiac, and we've got a lot of elements happening kind of all at once. And it makes a lot of sense that it is more immediately user friendly to like astrology beginners, right? To see like a vertical or rectangular table that lists out like, oh, your sun is in this sign of the zodiac, and just like basically a list, right? And looking at this circle chart and trying to read it, it's very understandable that you would get overwhelmed. But I feel really strongly that if you can look at a circle chart and understand what's happening, if you break down the elements and then build up your knowledge, it's just better. And by better, I mean that it gives you so much more information all at once, and that is why it is overwhelming. That it gives you just more information than like a list of planets and then a list of zodiacal signs next to it, as CoStar will show you. And I think Cafe Astrology has that as an option too. I haven't been there in a hot minute. I wanted to make this series to help break down the elements of a circle chart and make it a lot more easy to understand. And there's a few barriers to entry that are really basic and prominent. Okay. So the four main elements of a circle chart that I think of as the major hurdles are, the first two are just understanding the glyphs, understanding what is what means what. The glyphs, or the symbols, glyphs is the same as symbols. The symbols and glyphs the symbols or glyphs referring to the signs of the zodiac, Aries through Pisces. The planetary glyphs are symbols, which, symbolize the planets, Sun through Pluto, and, any asteroids or other points that you're including. I wrote this as the pie slices, which is essentially your houses, and the lines. The frickin' lines. Lines are very visually overwhelming, I understand. Yeah. These are the aspect lines. They show relationships between the different points and planets in the chart. So for this lesson, this video, we're just going to cover the zodiacal glyphs, and I'm going to try to just help explain and give little mnemonic kind of devices, or you just show you, like, show you the glyphs by sign and talk about them to just help you remember and help increase familiarity. That's what I want. All right, let's start with Aries. So this is Aries. Aries is the cardinal fire sign of the zodiac. It is represented by a ram. It initiates the first season of a new calendar year. So this symbol is pretty basic. It's a ram's horns. That's what the symbol for Aries is. I think this is easy to get confused with Taurus, honestly, because there are horn elements in both of them. But yeah, so this is basically Aries. Aries is this like basic V, reminiscent of a V shape, with the horns coming out at the top, and the horns kind of curve downward somewhat. And there's variations to all of this. Like sometimes you'll see like more curvy or more smooth, rounded versions, or sharper versions of all the glyphs. Okay, so Taurus, yeah, this is the Taurus glyph. It's a bull, so it has, it's also got horns. That's why I can kind of understand people getting Aries and Taurus a little bit confused because they both have horns. But the Taurus horns point up, or point up, they point outward, whereas the Aries horns are kind of like curving in a little bit. And that nuance isn't always obvious, but yeah, like Aries is a big V, and Taurus, like Taurus has got the head right here, this circle base, right? So this is basically the head of a bull. This circle boy is his head, and these are his little horns. It's pretty basic. Just gotta keep them straight. And if you understand just the order, the pure order of like which sign comes after another sign, then it's much easier to distinguish the glyphs that you might personally get kind of confused in your head. All right, this is the glyph for Gemini. Gemini represents twins, that's the idea. So it's just like, yeah, we've got twin pillars. Yeah, it looks like an 11. It looks like, I don't know, part of a fancy building that has pillars. Gemini is extremely straightforward. I think personally the only other zodiacal glyph I would get confused with Gemini is Pisces, because they are both double signs. Double signs? What am I talking about? Double-bodied signs. That's what I mean. So they have like two parts of their glyph. They're associated with two things. Like Pisces has two fish, and Gemini has these two elements. So they're straight vertical lines with two slightly more curved lines horizontally on the top and bottom. All right, Cancer. Okay, Cancer's weird. So Cancer is represented by the crab, right? And so, oh gosh. So the thing about crabs and the sign of Cancer is crabs move sideways instead of like straight forward. They move side to side style. So just imagine that this guy, this circle, is a crab, and this is his path of motion. This is where he came from or where he's going. And the same for this boy. This is also a crab. He goes sideways. Just think of this as like the path of travel for a crab. And crab goes with Cancer. Leo. Hi. So Leo is obviously the lion. People who are Leos tend to know they're Leos, even if they know nothing else, and it's extremely cute of them. And Leo, obviously the lion, the thing you think of with lions visually is the mane, right? We have the mane. We also have like the tail, which has a tuft of fur at the very end, and that's kind of cute. So, like, that's something, like, think of this as, like, the tail of the lion, where it's kind of skinny, and then at the end you get this, like, puffball of lion fur. You can also think of the Leo glyph as, like, kind of a bouffant hairdo. Yeah, okay, so just pretend that the Leo glyph, right, is this. It's just, like, big hair. Big rounded hair. All right, moving on to Virgo. Virgo is a little confusing to me. It's kind of represented by a maiden holding a wheat shaft or something. And it's kind of hard to see that in this glyph, honestly. So basically, it looks like an M that like kind of has to pee, and so it's like crossing its legs. I think this little loopy thing is like maybe supposed to be like the arm of the maiden, the arm of the figure, like enveloping, holding like the wheat against themselves. I am not sure. It is weird to explain it. But the way that I tend to remember Virgo is, well, one, I'm just used to it, but also it is actually helpful to think of Virgo and Scorpio as kind of like two sides they're like, they're buffeting Libra, and they have two really similar glyphs, because Virgo has this M that's kind of going inward into itself, and then Scorpio, we'll see in 2 slides, has this M that's pointing outward, with like a little stabby. So yeah, Virgo is an M that, has to pee. or Virgo is sitting properly like a lady with little crossed ankles or something. I don't know. But I think of it as an M that has to pee. So this is the glyph for Libra. It is supposed to be scales, the scales of justice or the scales of commerce I've seen described. One description I actually really like, better than the scales, is that Libra's glyph is shaped like a bridge. Like a cute little bridge that, like, 2 people are walking from this side to this side. Oh wait, you know what? I have a pen. So like, person is walking from here, another person is walking from here, and then they like come up in the middle, and then they kiss, because yeah. Yeah. So thinking of it as a bridge where 2 lovers are meeting or something, I don't know. One kind of embarrassing incident I had was when I was trying to explain the Omega symbol, actually, during a game of Keep Talking or Everyone Explodes. I forgot. I think that's the name of it, or it's pretty close to the name. And I had to like convey the Omega symbol to somebody verbally, and I described it as the as the Libra glyph, but like without the bottom without the bottom line. And that was embarrassing that I couldn't identify the Omega symbol upon sight. I just was like, what am I looking at? Anyway, on to Scorpio. So Scorpio, remember our tale of Virgos and like crossing their ankles here. So Scorpio is the other side of this. Scorpio also has this M, and it's pointing outward. The Scorpio is obviously represented by a scorpion. And so you just think of this as like, this is the tail of the scorpion, and it's kind of pointed outward. It's going to stab you. So I think of the Scorpio glyph as like the Virgo glyph is crossing its legs. It has to go to the bathroom, and then it comes back, when it emerges from the bathroom and returns to the table. It is now relieved, and it is now in the form, it's just carrying a knife. I don't know. It went by the kitchen, and it's brought a knife back to the table. This isn't helping the reputation of Scorpio as a sign. I'm sorry. I have a lot of Scorpio placements. I apologize. I love you. Sagittarius, super freaking straightforward. Sagittarius is associated with the archer and like a centaur, like a centaur that is an archer. So this is the arrow. That's all. This is the arrow from the archer, from the centaur's archery lessons. Pew! Into the sky. Yep, it's going up there. to the upper right. Yep, it's really straightforward. Sagittarius doesn't really look like anything else in the glyphs. It's great. Okay, Capricorn. Oh gosh. So, I've included these 3 versions of the Capricorn glyph because the Capricorn glyph is a goddamn nightmare from which I have never awoken. Awakened? Yes, awoken. So yeah, these are all, you can kind of see when you look at all 3 of these iterations of the Capricorn glyph that they have like similar elements, but they like overall look like different things. Like, so, this one looks like an N with a little O loop. So it looks like it's saying no, which is very cute because, like, Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. Saturn says no. Or not yet. It's very stern. I love that. So, like, this looks kind of like the word no. It looks like an N that's gone fancy. Whereas this one looks a little more like a V with the same little hook here. Well, circle and hook, this loop. And it's not helpful. And then we have this one, which just like, I don't know what we're doing. We have some similar elements of like, oh, there's a thing, and then there's a curve, there's a loop. Like, so Capricorn is weird, and I feel like I never know which glyph I'm going to see ever for Capricorn. So my rule of thumb is basically, if I see a zodiacal glyph that I understand from the context, it is like supposed to be a zodiac sign, and I don't know what it is, it's Capricorn. Because we just have these different variations of like the same idea of a shape. Oh, and it's not super helpful thinking like, oh, Capricorn is supposed to be the sea goat, right? Because what the hell is a sea goat? It makes no sense. It's weird. Capricorn's weird. You just kind of have to understand or know that it's between Aquarius and Sagittarius, which are much more straightforward signs. So if you just know that Capricorn is, you know, after the Sagittarius arrow and before the Aquarius little wavy lines, then I think you're good. Anyway, back to Aquarius, or forward to Aquarius. So Aquarius has a pretty easy symbol. Aquarius is the water bearer. I hear a lot of people say that really too quickly, and it sounds like water bear, which is a different thing. This is a water bear. Is this an Aquarius? I don't know. I don't know his birth information. So Aquarius is the fixed air sign, not a water sign, even though it has the word freaking aqua in it. The aqua part of Aquarius is water bearer. It is not water, it is holding water. It is not a creature of the water. It is the person that is holding a jug of water and can pour it down upon you. So yeah, Aquarius's symbol is really easy. So we have a kind of sharpened version here. Basically, it's just like waves. It's like waves of water, and so you see like a smoother. There's often smoother versions of it. This is kind of a pointier version that looks more like V's or little mountains, but it's supposed to be waves. So, yeah, very straightforward for Aquarius. Really hard to mistake for anything else, I think. Pisces, I honestly do get this confused with Gemini, but because Gemini and Pisces are like 4 signs apart, it's pretty easy to distinguish when I'm looking at like the wheel, like a zodiac wheel in a circle chart, right? Like, I'm not going to mistake its position in the chart. But if I see it as like an emoji, I will like do a double take. Because Pisces also has these 2 pair vertical lines, but these are more curved outward, because they're supposed to be like 2 fish, I guess, and then we've got this bar, I don't know, bisecting? Are we cutting the fish in half? What is with this symbol? But yes, so Pisces is fishies. And yeah, it's supposed to be kind of 2 fish swimming past each other. And yeah, it looks like this. Pisces is the mutable water sign. And this is what it looks like. So I hope this helped. Just talk you through some of the glyphs, just allow you to see them with the names of the signs next to them and talk about them a little more each time we look at them. Just, you know, this is really a basic level. You just need to kind of get used to the glyphs, and I thought I'd make something that I hope will help some people get more familiar and give them ways of thinking about the shapes that they're looking at. So thank you for attending this first lesson of the astrology syllabus. I'll be back with lesson 2, the glyphs for the planets. Thank you.